Hey fam, well, this is an honor to be with a mentor of mine and an absolute legend. I can't claim him exclusively as a mentor because he's mentoring thousands of people around the world in a really powerful, beautiful way, leading by example in a way that I've seen few leaders ever manage to do in my lifetime. And so it's a huge, huge honor to welcome Richard Oostra. And so whether you're joining us in the Zoom room or you're watching the stream or you're watching the replay, please join with me in bringing lots of love and appreciation towards Richard. Richard, an honor to have you here. How you doing, my man?
Amazing, Benji. Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolute honor. It really is a huge honor for us to have you. And if you haven't met Richard yet, you're in for a huge treat. I have so much immense respect for Richard. He's adding enormous value to my life, and we're going to get into it right away with some of the, I would say, rare and extremely powerful mindsets, skill sets that Richard carries that are being multiplied into thousands of people right now in a way that's bringing significant change into their life in a powerful way. So I'm going to pray, Richard, and really excited to get into this interview with you. But again, everyone, send lots of love Richard's way. And if you're not following him yet, you'll want to by the end of this. You'll be inspired. So Jesus, I thank you so much for Richard. I thank you that he carries your heart so beautifully, so powerfully. I thank you for the amazing gift of leadership, mentorship, vision that are on his lives. I thank you for the power of example that he carries and puts on display, and for the momentum that he brings into people's lives instantly from the time he meets him. Papa, I thank you for blessing him immensely in this time, and for creating a space right now where in this time together, wisdom is put on display in a way that we can access it and implement it into our lives, our businesses, our families, in Jesus' name. Amen. So, Richard, I'd love to get a little bit of context for people to start with on your story, who you are, where you're from. So if you'd like to just maybe kind of give us a bird's eye view of, you know, where you're from, who you are, what you were doing in business before you were doing what you're up to now. And we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Benji, for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's an honor to be here with you guys. And for everybody that is watching the live stream or will see this recording, really, really excited to just have this opportunity. And, you know, I've been working with Benji now for a while, and he's tremendous. One of the most tremendous leaders that I've ever had a chance to meet and to work with. And, you know, my life, my day is always better when I get a chance to communicate with him. So, you know, a little bit about me. So we're not, you know, total strangers. You know, I'm Canadian. I was born in Northern Canada. It gets down to like -50 in the wintertime up there. It's crazy. And, you know, my family actually moved to South Africa when I was 5. So spent 7 years of my childhood overseas. My dad was working for a Christian radio organization. My mom was homeschooling the kids. And, you know, that was a part of my childhood. And then moved back to Canada, started working, you know, worked 2-3 jobs through junior high, 3 jobs in high school, ran a farm in high school, you know, played hockey. Ended up moving to the States, did actually an internship at a missions organization, went on a bunch of trips around the world to incredible places, and just continue to fall in love with, you know, travel and with people, and came back and went to college for a brief, you know, short time, ended up dropping out of school, and, you know, eventually started my first business at 24. Got into the financial industry at 25 and broke some records. And that kind of started me on this path in business, which really allowed me to just, you know, learn about networking, learn about personal development, success, you know, building relationships, coaching, recruiting, you know, building teams, building organizations, speaking. And it's just propelled me into this, you know, career that I have now. And you know, I'm grateful every day that I get to do what I do. And it's been an amazing journey. You know, I've lived in 5 countries around the world, traveled to 18, soon to be 40 countries by the time I'm 40. So excited for everything going on, and just, yeah, really, really excited about what's happening in my life right now.
Dude, that is amazing. I love your journey. And I mean, you were involved in a range. I mean, how old are you now?
34.
34. Oh, 34. I like your goal of 40. I'm 40. I'm 40 in July. So you're just under 2 months before I'm 40. So I liked your 40 reference there. I've got 40 on the brain at the moment. So what are you doing now, though? You've had all these other different business experiences, financial space, those types of things. What are you involved in now? What's your space that you're not even in Canada, right? Where are you living now? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so was able to really just get clarity in about 2018. I really got clarity on what I wanted my life to look like. And this is something for everybody on the call that you can do is I heard somebody tell me one time that most people don't get what they want in life because they don't know what it is that they want, and they never actually decide and get clear on what they want. They're just kind of rolling with it, and so in 2018, I took out a journal, probably looked a little bit like this. And I just wrote down, what I wanted my life to look like. And the next year, an opportunity showed up through somebody that I had met in a coffee shop, a couple of years prior. She reached out to me. She said, "Hey, I still got your contact. I want to share something with you." And put me on the phone with a good friend of mine now, like a very close friend and business partner, Greg, who actually introduced me to an opportunity, and ended up on a plane down to Dallas, Texas. And what I saw and what I experienced was really catching the vision of something that was so much bigger than me and really what I wanted. But all of the things that I had written down the year before fit into this opportunity and in this vision. And the company's vision is to empower, enrich, and educate the lives of millions of people around the world, and really to help people step into freedom. That was the vision that I heard, and I was seeing it in thousands of people that I was meeting at this event. I went, this is what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of something like this. So it's an educational company, and we have academies that teach people high value skills. So skills that, have no limit on what you can earn, skills that you can do on your own time, ways that you can make money, create income, and ultimately create leverage. So basically what I've been doing for the last 4 years is, I got started as a student, became a business owner inside of the company. So you can learn how to become an investor or a business owner or both, and just started sharing that vision with people. And that's what I've been doing the last 4 years is helping to empower people and put people in a position in a growth environment where they can create a different life. And, last week, I actually looked up the word empowered. First time I looked it up, and I've been saying it for 4 years, but I looked it up and it says, it means to make people stronger, to help people, regain control and help them claim their birthright. And I was like, dude, that's exactly what's happened in our organization. Over the last 4 years, we built an organization of thousands of people, and the company has grown immensely. But just seeing people's lives changed and transformed is really what that gets me excited. I was writing in a Facebook post the other day, it's the first time in the last few years of my life where I've really actually truly felt fulfilled in what I've done. Because up until this point, when your life is all about you, and your life is all about, what's my path, what's my future, how am I going to, solve my problems, or how am I going to have the life I want to have, and it's all about you, it's kind of a depressing place to be. And I think that's where most people find themselves. That's where I used to be. But when you can step into a place where you can be in service of other people, which is, pretty much the highest vibration that you can be in is in service, right? If you can step into service in a place where you have a vehicle and a platform to do that, life gets pretty exciting, and it turns into an adventure, and every day is a different adventure. And, I've been blessed to be one of the leaders in the company now, on the advisory board of the company. I travel all over the world. I've seen some incredible places since getting started. And, we're just in the beginning. We're going to be 10 years old as a company coming up next month, or July 4th, sorry. And you know, the first decade will be in the books, and the next 10 years is really you know, what I'm focused on is, you know, helping more people and really just carrying this vision on of really, you know, not just giving people a fish, but teaching people to fish, and coaching and leading people and giving people a, you know, an environment where they can grow. And I think that ultimately, you know, it's a place where people can become a lot happier and, you know, create more success. But just sharing what I'm passionate about and sharing what I love to do. And, you know, it's been a blessing. So that's where I'm at right now. And that's, you know, taken me down here to Central America. So during the pandemic, you know, Canada turned into, you know, a pretty scary place. And I decided to take my surfboard and go to Costa Rica. So that's what I did for 9 months, and then ended up coming over to Panama for a visit, which is right next to Costa Rica. And I've been living here for a year. So lots of travel, lots of adventures, but been hanging out down here for a couple of years.
That's beautiful, man. One of the questions that I really wanted to explore with you is, what do you think comes first? Do you think vision comes first or alignment comes first? Because in what you just said there, you pulled out your notebook, you created a vision, a dream, like, hey, this is what I want my future to look like. You got that down on paper, then an opportunity popped up. Do you think in general it goes vision, then opportunity, or sometimes it's kind of just layered on both? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a great question. You know, I think that, like I said earlier, you know, once we get clear on what we want, it's a powerful thing, and clarity is power, you know. And I heard a long time ago that, you know, once the student is ready, the teacher will appear, you know. So if you think about it, every day we're getting opportunities that are coming at us, right? We're getting opportunities in, you know, maybe in our network, or people are sending us stuff, or we're, you know, seeing things online, whatever. But what I believe is I believe in the laws of, I believe that God created the universe. I believe that God created us with a purpose and a way that we fit into this universe, and a way that we can operate within it. So there's laws that govern the universe. And one of those is the law of vibration. You know, a lot of people talk about the, you know, the law of attraction, and it gets a lot of press, and there's been movies and books and all kinds of things, you know, made about the law of attraction, but that's a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. So once you get on the vibration, which basically means you're thinking and you're focusing on something, right? If I'm thinking and focusing on, you know, one specific goal or one specific vision that I have, what happens is your body goes into that vibration. You as a human being, you change your frequency. And then what happens is opportunities that are on that frequency will actually come and it's like you get on that radio station, right? We can only be on one frequency at a time. So think of like your AM or your FM radio. You can only tune it to one station, right? And if the opportunity that you want, or that you want to, you know, be a part of, or that you could potentially be a part of, is on a different station, you got to change your frequency to get there. So it all really begins with, you know, our thoughts and getting clarity, and then getting on, you know, like for me, when I took a pen and paper and I wrote down, I wanted to work with the best leaders in the world. I wanted to become a better leader. I wanted to have a platform to speak. I wanted to build an organization. I wanted to have a global business. I wanted to, you know, impact the world in a positive way. What I was doing without even knowing it was I was, you know, setting my intention, and I was getting on that vibration because I was just thinking about it every day. And God actually gave me a verse in that time of my life, which was, you know, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And I just kept repeating that verse to myself over and over and over. And then when I got into this company, when I started getting around people like Bob Proctor, who's now passed away, one of the greatest Canadians to ever live, I started studying his information, and he's like, God created people with, you know, to be able to function inside of a universe, and there's laws that govern it, like the law of gratitude, the law of gravity, the law of vibration, all these different things. And it just expanded my mind and my awareness to such a different level. So I think to answer your question, Benji, like, opportunities are everywhere, but we have to be aligned in order to actually see them, number one, and then to take advantage of them. And then step three is to actually go in and make a dent or actually become successful in that opportunity. You have to go through that process yourself, and you have to make that decision, which can happen quickly. It doesn't necessarily have to take years and years and years, but to step into a company or a community like we have, and to be successful at it, you have to make a decision to say, I align with this, but also, I'm going to focus, and I'm going to be very clear on, where I'm going and what value I bring, and then take those actions that are necessary, because opportunity is just opportunity. You have to act on the opportunity in order to actually make it, something that's going to make a difference.
Man, I love that. Here's another question, vision related. And I guess I want to really explore this dynamic of vision, because when it comes to business, I think a lot of people miss the power of what you've just said, the power of, that law of vibration, the power of vision. There's a spiritual dynamic to creating business that is, in my perspective, I'd say it's actually more powerful than the practical day-to-day of what you actually do. How much value would you ascribe, or how much impact do you think this dynamic of creating vision, setting vision, the law of vibration, how much impact do you think that actually has on a person's business, on what they're building or their life, what they're trying to create? How much does that have versus what you actually do day to day with your hands?
I think it's everything. I think, not everything, it's not 100%. I would say it's 90% of it. I would say the spiritual side of success is 90%. And the strategy is 10%. And so what I mean by that is, picking up the phone and making calls is easy to do. You pick up a device and you press a button, right? But when you think about what we do on a day-to-day basis, most of the things we do every day are the same things. Most of the thoughts we think and the actions we take are repetitive, right? What happened for me was, I had to get around different people. That was the biggest thing for me that changed my life. I grew up around, my buddies. I played hockey, and we had, I had hockey buddies. Then I went to college, I had college buddies. Then I went to work, I had work buddies. I had friends and I had people that I was meeting. But when I started getting around people that were truly successful and people that had different information, I was able to start, reading books. I started picking up personal development books. And the more I've studied personal development, what's really interesting, because, our relationship with our creator, I think it kind of looks like a chart sometimes. It goes up and down, has its ups and downs, right? But what's cool about the way that God has spoken to me in different ways about different things is a lot of it's been through personal development, and I've brought it all back to the Bible. Most of these books and laws of success and the principles that you read in personal development books, they're all based on the Bible. So when you think about it, we really, once we get aligned, like, I love that word, but once we get aligned with the right people, the right information, and we start to think differently, which ultimately is the spiritual side of success. It all starts in our thoughts, right? It starts to, put you into a state where you're going to take the right actions. Like if you've been studying and growing spiritually, you've been studying and growing professionally, personally, as a person, you've been, developing, your antennas are getting stronger towards, picking up the things that you need to be picking up. You walk into a room, like you walk into a live event, and you're going to start speaking. You're going to talk to the right people. You're going to be aligned with different people because your vibration and your frequency is going to match them. It's like the same thing with business. Somebody has an opportunity. If they're somebody that's operating within a set of set laws or principles, or you've studied and grown your awareness of that, when you have the right opportunity, it's like you can become very effective and very proficient in how you use your time and the work that you're actually doing. So I think it's probably a 90-10 split.
That is huge. And that's something that I would love you to deeply meditate on that. So many people are putting all their effort on the 10% and they're not nailing the 90% that could be the most influential. I was right on the verge of adding a 0 to my 3-year vision, right? I wanted to, add at the start of the year, my goal was written down at, in the next 3 years, put 1,000 people through our Limitless Discipleship Program. I was right on the verge of putting another 0 on that. And then I was hanging out with Rich in Miami at a conference that we went to, connected with this business. And then I confirmed in my heart, I was like, yeah, so I'm just going to put another 0 on this vision. And then when I put that extra 0 on the dream, on the goal that was written down, the divine appointments, the opportunities, my world exploded. Because I think that what you're saying, so much of it is this 90% of achieving, building, creating is that vision. And so really, really love that. Last question on vision, before we transition to the next kind of theme is your vision growing, expanding, or is it static? And if it's growing, where is your dream at now? What's your vision now?
I love it, bro. I love that question. So, what's interesting, I mean, first of all, yes, my vision is expanding and growing every day. What's interesting is that it's not happening in the way that I thought it would. And, you use the word meditate, saying, hey, people, I want you to meditate on what we're talking about. Lately, as I grew up reading the Bible, my family, grew up in church, my parents are, deeply spiritual people. The words pray and meditate are mentioned in the Bible so much. And I never actually was taught how to meditate until I moved to Costa Rica. And I ended up having a friend of mine that gave me a guided meditation, which is basically just somebody talking me through this exercise of visualization and breathing and all these different things I was doing. And it was crazy what happened for me, because every day since then I've meditated. And lately in my meditation, as I've tied together prayer into it, I actually have one where I'm talking to God in my meditation, and I'm asking him to expand the vision and handle all the details of the day, handle all the details of, whatever it is that happens today. And I do it in the morning when I can. My vision has been expanded through just my visualizations. I've been able to visualize the future in such powerful ways through that. And that might sound maybe a little bit, if you've never done anything like that, it might sound a little crazy to you. If it might sound like a kind of a woo-woo thing to you, if that's a new concept. But for me, some of my most incredible, the moments that I've had in just meditating and praying and then visualizing and having, images of the future just literally downloaded for me. It's really, really cool. And what's happening is as I'm on this journey, as that's happening, I'm starting to come out of these meditations and write down in my journals everything that I saw, or the pictures that I got, or, the conversations I had in those, sometimes it's almost like a dream state, and it's really powerful. So the vision is expanding and growing. The journals and the plans are crystallizing. I actually, a month ago, I read Alex Morton's new book. If you guys haven't read Alex Morton's new book, it's called The Secret to Knowing It's Already Done. And he was Bob Proctor's mentee, one of my mentors, Benji's mentors as well now, and somebody that, he was just on a world tour through Europe in 10 countries over the last 15 days, speaking to sold out rooms full of people, and his last book, I just read it. It just came out very recently. He talks about getting crystal clear on your plans. And so I read that book, and I hadn't done this in a long time, probably since 2018. I literally mapped out the next 5 years of my life in detail. And that's a really powerful thing to do. And you have to be in the right state of mind to do it. It has to be the right moment for you to sit down and have that kind of clarity. But it's exciting what's ahead. And really, I guess what I feel, Benji, is I just feel a lot of certainty. I feel a lot of certainty knowing that I'm in the right place, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm on the journey I'm supposed to be on. And the people I'm meant to be connected to and the people I'm meant to help and impact, are already in my life, but are going to be, that's going to grow as well. And so, it's extremely exciting, man. And my life wasn't always this way. For years I was searching for the right path, and I'm just grateful that I'm here now. So that's kind of a long answer to your question, but yeah, that's how the vision is looking now.
Yeah, it's so priceless, and I don't think it could be overemphasized, because, and this leads into the next kind of angle that I want to go into, is that whatever business that we're involved in should ultimately, in the way that I think, in a perfect world, the business that we're creating, businesses that we're involved in, should ultimately be there to serve as a vehicle to take us into the dream and destination and desires and hopes and aspirations that we have for the future. So
absolutely.
For people to understand that a business is actually a tool, a vehicle to help you redesign reality. It's a tool to help you create the future that you've desired, that you've dreamed for. But 90% of the work, 90% of your business, 90% of your cash flow, 90% of dreams fulfilled is actually going to take place in the spiritual element of creativity, the spiritual aspect of creating, which I think is so overlooked and so misunderstood. I have a saying that just come out of the same process of relationship with God, is that the better I pray, the better I dream, the better I dream, the better I pray. The more I pray, the more I dream, the more I dream, the more I pray. But ultimately, this process, this dance, is about redesigning reality to create the future that is burning in my heart, that I'm conceiving this future with God. And then business becomes a tool to get there. But it's actually this spiritual element of my life that is the most powerful leverage force that I have. So I'm really excited about that. And the next phase that I wanted to help you really get your insights into, and for people, helping them to figure out business as a vehicle, right? So fam, I hope you're getting this, that 90% of the work is spiritual. And then you want to, after you've kind of taken care of that and you start getting clear on what you want, creating it, that word certainty that you said, so powerful. Any other thoughts on that certainty, or how it makes you feel when you're now in this place of certainty? Like, how do you feel when you wake up with a certainty?
Dude, let me put it to you this way. I think that the majority of people wake up thinking about their past. I think the majority of people wake up and immediately think about yesterday and their past relationship that didn't work, or their past business that didn't work, or the mistakes they made, or the money they lost, or whatever. And when you constantly live in the past, I heard one of our company conventions, which you guys need to get to one. The next one's in Croatia in September. Already 5,000 tickets sold for that. We had the owner of the New York Yankees spoke at our event in London, England. That was the weekend that COVID actually was announced in the media. And his name's Seth. And he actually said something that'll stay with me for the rest of my life. He said, there's a reason why the windshield is 100 times bigger than the rearview mirror. He's like, if you're driving down the highway at 100 kilometers an hour, 100 miles an hour, and you're looking in the rearview mirror, what's going to happen? He said, that's how most people live their life. And I said, holy cow. Like I said, he was speaking to me, so when I wake up in the morning, I have a superpower that I tap into, which is gratitude. So every day I wake up, and if I'm thinking about my past, or I'm thinking anything negative, and the longer I lay in bed, the worse it gets. So if you get out of bed and put your feet on the floor, it helps a lot. You take your pen and paper and you write down 10 things you're grateful for. And then you start writing down your goals, your dreams, what you're focused on. This takes a lot of discipline. And we could do a whole hour on discipline, because that's, something that I've been studying a lot. But, Bob Proctor said one time in a speech he did at Network Marketing GoPro Hall of Fame, he was speaking there like 7 years ago. He said, people have a negative view of discipline because they think discipline is punishment. And that was me for a lot of my life. But discipline is actually just giving yourself a command and following it. So if you can give yourself a command, and you can wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to focus on my future, and I'm actually going to take a pen and paper, and I'm going to write down where it is I'm going. you're already going to be in the top 5% of the world. You're already going to be successful. Like if you want to become successful, all you have to do is have a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret. He says, if you're progressively realizing, if you're progressively moving towards a worthy ideal or a worthy goal or a worthy objective, which you get to decide, by the way, right? In the spiritual, like Benji's talking about, as you're creating that, then you're already successful. So that's, you know, that's the biggest thing is it's a daily battle. It's not something that you just do one time, you know, to answer your question, but, you know, it feels good. It feels good. It feels, you know, you start to feel a sense of excitement about the future and about where you're going. But these tools and these practical things that you can do will really help to, you know, just to give you some, you know, something that, you know, you can apply every single day, because it's easy to write down your vision. It's easy to write down your goals, but it's also easy to get distracted. It's also easy to forget about them, you know? So when we stay focused and we, you know, keep our eye on the ball, right? That's one thing. You look at sports, you look at any sport, you know, that the people that, you know, get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play sports, what do? They keep their eye on the ball. Right? If we can just keep our eye on the ball and stay focused on what it is we're aiming to do, you're going to feel excited when you get out of bed. You're going to feel pumped at, you know, like if you're like Benji, you get up at 3 a.m. and hit the squat rack, you know, you're going to feel excited.
Come on. 355, 3 days a week. That's me. But yesterday, yep, hit the squats. Good times.
I love it.
I hit a personal best yesterday on the squat, 165 kg.
Let's go.
So I love that. That's discipline. Dude, that was so priceless. Now we're going to do a little bit of a combo of practical and a fun activation. Here it is. I'm wanting people to come away from this with some practical wisdom on how to choose a good opportunity. Not everyone knows how to shop for a good financial boat to align with. Warren Buffett said, it's not how hard you row, it's what boat you're in. So I like to talk about this concept of boat shopping. How do you shop for a boat, right? That's a good financial boat to actually get in. So first, I'm going to do a screen share, and I want to share a picture that I've got. This picture because I got it via you sharing it with someone else. Here it is, coming up. This is it here. Here's the screen share. Richard, when did you discover this mindset, and what would you say about this mindset to someone who's in a sense shopping for opportunity, shopping for alignment, shopping for financial vehicles or business vehicles? Just, you know this inside and out, but love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I took some time and actually wrote a post, and it's you can go to my Facebook or my Instagram, and it's titled "Urgent Message for Entrepreneurs," I believe is the title. And I literally wrote down a framework for how to sort through opportunities and just determine if something has some legs or determine if something is a good fit. Now, here's the thing: is I like to think very practically. I'm a very simple guy. So I look at something and I go, on a scale of 1 to 10, what level is this kind of an opportunity, right? For example, so if I look at an opportunity and I say, okay, this is a level 1 opportunity, this is a level 9 opportunity. Well, there has to be a way to determine that. So, you know, in our business, in the business that we're in, digital entrepreneurship, home-based business, network marketing, relationship marketing, you know, education, investing, you know, business ownership, right? In this space, 96% of companies don't make it 4 years. Okay. So before I get to this picture, I'll give you guys some really basic stuff that you can use. So if a company's less than 4 years old, there's a 96% chance that in 4 years from when it started, it's going to be gone. So you have a lot of people that jump from startup to startup to startup, or opportunity to opportunity to opportunity. I know people that have been in 30 opportunities in the last 10 years. and they're still looking for the next one, right? So if you look at something and go, well, how long has it been around? Does it have any legs? Is there a good foundation, right? And when you hit a 10-year mark, that's like 99% of companies in this space won't make it 10 years. So if something's 10 years old, I mean, it's basically on its way to a legacy company. But this particular photo or this image, this was created by Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad author. He's a billionaire, amazing guy. I've studied a lot of his stuff. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I love the concepts that he teaches because it's very freeing, And so I first saw this, I think it was probably 2015. And I was in the 60% category. I'd had 25 jobs before I was 25 years old, if you can believe it. Sometimes working 3 at a time, And I knew what I didn't want my life to look like. I knew I didn't want to trade time for money. So then I decided to start as a self-employed person, which a lot of people that are business, they think they're business owners, but they're self-employed. So if you've got like 10 employees or less, that's technically self-employed by definition, right? The business isn't going to run without you. If the business isn't going to run without you being there, you're self-employed. You still don't have any leverage. So when you look for an opportunity, you want to find something that's going to give you leverage with your time, leverage with your money. Now, very, very difficult to find something like that. Very, very rare to find something that combines the two. But when you can get into the 5%, and you can become an investor, or you can develop the investor mindset first and foremost, and you can have the opportunity to become a real business owner where you have a large organization, or the opportunity to create a large organization of people that are all working towards a common goal. Now you're leveraging. And the best way for me to break that down in like a mental picture for you guys is think of, you as one individual doing 100% of the work, right? That's a self-employed person generally until they scale it up. And that's definitely, someone who's an employee. Well, think of that 1 and 100, one person and 100%. Think of 100 people. If you think of the next picture, you have 100 people instead of 1, and those 100 people are all doing 1% of the work. So you're still doing the same amount of work, but you now, as one of those 100, are only doing 1% of the work, meaning you have your time back. You have 99% of your time back. Okay. So now if you scale that to 1,000 people doing 1% of the work, now you've got 10 times the income. You're still doing 1%. And now you've got all kinds of time. And now you've got real leverage, right? That's what real business ownership looks like. And so that's why I love this space. That's why I love this industry is we teach people how to do this. And so our company, actually takes people from the 95 to the 5 through education. Number one, we don't take any investments. We don't invest your money for you. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. We give you education, tools, and mentorship to become an investor and a business owner. And it's crazy how this starts to transform somebody's life, because it's really a mindset. Like there's people that are stuck in that employee mindset, and they're not willing to, they don't want to change. They don't want to learn something new. But that's where the freedom is in, embracing change. Like one of the things that I believe, one of the concepts I believe is so powerful, and it's such a strong value for me, is embracing change, but also education. If you can continually be learning and continually be growing and seeking out knowledge, you're going to you're going to find what you're looking for, right? Ask and it'll be given, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open, right? Like that's a timeless, principle and a promise. So when it comes to evaluating opportunities, number one, how long has it been around for? Number two, can you create real leverage with it? Is it something that's giving you a guaranteed return? Because if it is, you should probably stay away from it. Look for things that are going to be educational. Look for things that are going to give you, that are going to empower you. If something's going to empower you to have control and actually give you the opportunity to learn and become, the CEO of your own life, or have the opportunity to start a business, that's a really powerful thing. So many people are looking for free and easy. So many people are looking for something that's like, well, I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to put any time in. I just want to, give my money to someone and hope I make a return. And that's where a lot of people, it's a lack of education. A lot of people just don't have the education to know what to look for. And I was there too. I mean, I lost, as I was growing and learning these things, I lost money too along the way. But, without going into more detail, I don't know if you have any more specific questions, I'd love to answer them, but that's kind of a general, specific and general answer to your question.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate those insights, because if you get in the wrong boat, like Warren Buffett said, it's not about how hard you row, it's about what boat you're in. And highlighting that just helps us to see that you're probably 95% of people didn't actually give thought to what boat they're in. You kind of go, ta-da, you just arrive, maybe your parents did something or whatever, you just growing up, you listen to your teachers or, your culture. Like, we often end up in the financial boat that we're in through osmosis of just picking up what everyone else around us is doing. And that's a guaranteed way to get into a dumb boat. Because if you look at what 95% of people are doing, the financial understanding, the wisdom that 95% of people have, they're in a dumb boat. And so, yeah, I love what you shared there, because it's actually a lifeline in a sense of, hey, get out of the boat that you're in. If you don't like the boat you're in, there's a whole nother world just waiting for you, opportunity waiting for you. I heard recently in a podcast I was listening to, you can't get any better return on investment than education. And if you want to change the game in your life completely, develop a skill set that gives you more leverage. I'd love to just hear your thoughts on that, those two concepts, right? That there's no better return on investment than education. And this concept that you can increase leverage in your life by developing a skill set. Thoughts on that?
I totally agree, bro. Here's the thing is, Jim Rohn said that formal education will make you a living. And that's where most people stop, is formal education. They just want to make a living. They just want to make their 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year. But, self-education, he said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And, it's ironic, because I was not stoked to be in school when I was younger. I was always late for class. I was always skipping class. I was playing pool in the cafeteria, skipping classes, really just went to school to play on the hockey team, because I had to, pass classes to be on the hockey team. That was my whole thing. And now, having gone through this paradigm shift of, being in the workforce, going into the corporate world, discovering entrepreneurship, discovering personal development, and then getting back into this place of just being in love with education, I think that I completely agree with what you said about leverage with your skill sets. And just the fact that, a lot of people, I think what a lot of people want is they want to find that like home run investment, right? I'm looking for that one investment. I'm going to invest in gold in the 19, whatever. And in 50 years, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to put my money in Bitcoin, which I love Bitcoin. I'm just saying, people are looking for I'm going to buy this piece of property, or I'm going to do this. And it's going to be this Hail Mary home run. And we're going to win the game. Well, investing is extremely powerful, and everybody should do it. But the number one thing that we need to invest in is ourselves, right? That should be the first investment. Like, I know people, the most successful people I know have invested thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into themselves, in courses, education, mentorship, coaching, going to events, like all these different things, buying, getting in a growth environment. I know a guy that spent over $1 million on personal development and education. So when you invest that much into yourself, you become a person that automatically your value goes up, your awareness, like I heard somebody say one time that your mind is like a wet rag. You get a rag, you get it, put some water on it, and you stretch it. That rag is never going to go back to its original shape. It's now stretched. That's how your mind is. So when you can expand your awareness to a place through investing in yourself, now it's like most people are looking through a window that's this wide, right? They're just kind of peeking through the window being like, hopefully nobody gets in to get them, hopefully they're safe, where if you open that window and you expand that awareness, you start to see a whole different landscape. And for me, that's what, meditation has really helped me with. That's what education has helped me with. That's what, getting around the right people has helped me with. But yeah, skill sets are everything. So what we do in our company is we actually teach people, like I said, high value skill sets where, in 6 to 12 months, 18 months, you're going to have a proficient skill set that you can take your smartphone anywhere in the world and you can make money with. And you're not trusting it to someone else or giving it to someone else to say, well, hopefully they're going to come through for me. You're going to be empowered with your own skill set. So I'm actually going to make a post tomorrow. I just wrote it earlier about 10 things that AI cannot do and skills that you can learn, 10 skills that you can learn if you want to be somebody that is irreplaceable in the marketplace over the next couple of years. And so these are all things that we teach in the academy. So we have an academy, we teach skills, very, very simple to understand, basic, education 101 type stuff, all the way up to as far as you want to take it. And then, on the business side, I believe that education is just as important because, if you look at this world and this industry of, everyone's at home looking for a home-based business opportunity. Well, in home-based business, again, 95% of people are doing it as amateurs. So if you can learn how to do it as a professional and you can get the right tools and training, which we also teach, we have a whole independent business owner academy that we just launched. We just had a webinar about an hour ago to actually showcase the Business Owner Academy. It's literally step by step teaching you from professionals how to build a home-based business professionally and how to do it in a way where you can scale it up and get that leverage. So yeah, completely agree with both of those points. And it's so important, man. I mean, it's really everything, so many people are looking for that get rich quick or that one-time hit or something where it's like, I don't want to put in a little bit of time, a little bit of work and a little bit of money to get somewhere. They aren't willing to take that risk when really is not doing that. Right? Like the price that someone has to pay is minuscule compared, a few $100s is minuscule and compared to the price you're going to pay if you don't do that. So that's what I would say.
It's great. I read a great quote yesterday. Some people hate, Some people hate losing enough to change. Some people hate change enough to lose. There's got to be this moment where you're going to be, okay, I'm going to take some action to change. And there's this dynamic of self-awareness, right? Where a person becomes so self-aware that they realize they're the most powerful person in their life. You have more influence in your life than the devil. And to a degree, God's given you so much autonomy and so much power that he's actually given you the power to make the decisions over your own life. And he stepped back and said, okay, hey, create something beautiful. So here we are in this place of massive, massive opportunity, massive risk, massive danger. What are you going to do with this opportunity to be limitless, to create whatever it is that's on your heart to create? So, man, what you're sharing is so genius. And I want to start bringing it towards a close, but there's a little bit more juice I really want to get out of you. This dynamic of education, right? Education being the space to get the highest return on investment. Real quick fire on this. Are you talking university? What do you think in terms of financial reward from university? You mentioned it before, formal education will make you a living. Your thoughts on ROI, people who are going to spend $100K on a university training. Your thoughts on that, and take 3, 4, 5 years and spend $100K on university. Would you do that? And why or why not?
So I'm not down on formal education. I don't think that there's anything wrong if people want to go to university and get a degree. I mean, there's certain things that people hopefully do have a degree in. If they're going to, be a surgeon, they're going to cut you open, or they're going to, be a lawyer. You want to have a lawyer that's been to school, right? You want to have a doctor that's been to school and passed. So I don't think that, I would ever speak negatively of that. But the thing that I don't believe in is that everybody that wants to have a great life or has a dream should go to university. I don't think that everybody should do that, because, if you look at the people that, teach business in university, most of them have never run a business, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, which, this whole concept of kingdom entrepreneurship has really just exploded, thanks to obviously people like yourself and others in this space that have really tapped into this. It's like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to, I believe God created us to be entrepreneurs. That's what I believe. But not everybody's cut out to be one. It's a hard road. It's a difficult road. It's a road of, a lot of ups and downs and challenges. And, it's not everything that it appears to be on social media, that's for sure. But when you look at entrepreneurship, which really is everything we're talking about on this call, I think that investing in self-education is going to give you a lot further, higher return. So, our academy is $300 to get started. It's a couple $100 a month. It's going to allow you to at least have a place to start and then decide, where you want to specialize and where you want to focus. Other things like, investing in going to events. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in flying out to events, between hotels, flights, accommodations, tickets, food, promoting all those different things. And I would venture to say that, most of the top people in my network, like my contacts that I'm just, I'm doing big things with, I met them at events, so that's another form of education. Like I said, we have a convention coming up in September in Croatia. We have events happening all over the world. But when you look at the opportunity for yourself to say, I've got a little bit of money or I've got a lot of money, where do I focus it? I think it just comes down again to what do you want? Do you want time freedom? Do you want financial freedom? Do you want to have leverage? Do you want to be a part of something bigger than you? If you just want to learn how to code and be a software guy and sit in your office at home and your room and code and create software, that's a different, that's a different animal. I don't have a path for you to go and do that. That's not my field of expertise. And like I said, there's so many different ways to get educated. There's so many different ways that you can achieve your hopes and dreams, right? I just believe that for the average person, what people are looking for is they need direction and mentorship. And when you can tap into a community that has that in a real way, in a place where, you can ask questions, you can get help, you can take it at your own pace, and ultimately something that can scale. What I love about the skill sets we teach is they're high value skill sets, meaning there's no cap on what you can earn. There's no cap on what you can earn as an investor, as a trader, as someone in e-commerce, as someone in home-based business, somebody in social media, somebody in, leadership development. There's no cap on what you can earn in those spaces. So I just am so passionate about it because I've seen people's lives transformed. Like one of the top guys in our company, I was fortunate enough to be the one that invited him to look at the company in 2019, and he did. And he was about to send $15,000 to somebody to trade his money for him, right? Which is, how many stories have we heard about that? And it's crazy because what happens is he comes in here for $300, learns the skill, and then he goes on to make, I'm not going to say numbers because I don't want to create any income claims, but he's gone on to create exponentially, so many times over, bigger results than he would have had if he would have, given his money to somebody else. And he saved himself all that time and all that energy of going, well, now I got to go make that money back. And now I have to go find a different vehicle. Right. So I've just seen so many of those kinds of situations where, people are there's that gap. It's like education is kind of like that bridge. I heard John Maxwell speak. If you guys have never heard John Maxwell speak live, I would say whatever you have to do, get in the room to see him speak. He's incredible. He was here in Panama City about a month ago, and he said that, bridges, he was talking about transformation and how people transform their lives. And one of the pictures of transformation was a bridge. And he said that bridges are usually built over rough terrain. and he was talking about how bridges are usually built over, a river or, a really, a ravine or something where it's very rough terrain. And that's where most people find themselves right now, is you have this dream or this vision of like, hey, I want to travel the world. I want to have time freedom. I want to use the gifts and abilities that I've been given. I want to fulfill this desire in my heart to go and maybe you want to give your time and your money to something specific, or maybe you want to launch a music career. Maybe you want to launch a career in movies, or whatever your dream is, right? It's like, okay, well, there's kind of some rough terrain between where I am now and where I want to go. What's the bridge that's going to get me there? And ultimately, I would just encourage you to look at education, because I think that it gets a bad rap. We think of education as like you're sitting in class and they're going to ring a bell when you got to leave and you can't get up to go pee and all this crazy stuff that we were raised in. But traditional education and the kind of education that's available today is just so drastically different. And it's exciting, it's interactive, and it's something that can really, hopefully be that bridge for you.
Love it, man. That's so good. I got a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap this up. But I met a couple of your mentors, Greg and Melanie, and they're examples of what's available on this platform. And we met them when we were in Miami. I met them when I was in Miami with you. When you meet Greg and Melanie, all of a sudden you realize you're in the presence of experts. And that's what I've seen over and over, because you introduced me to multiple people who are trainers in this platform, and everyone you come across, they are experts. And that's what I love about the academy that you're a part of. Is it's not like going to high school and your economics teacher who is broke and can only just afford to cover their house costs teaching you economics, right? You're not hanging around, some broke people. You're hanging around experts who are actually crushing it in their fields. Greg was the guy that you first jumped on a call with, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't know him. He's in this academy. You jump on a call with a stranger. Fast forward to now, and they've mentored you through so much in life. Could you put a dollar figure on the value of their mentorship?
Well, I mean, if we're talking Canadian dollars, I would say it'd be 7 figures. I mean, it's what it comes down to is that, I know you quoted Warren Buffett earlier, and one of my favorite Warren Buffett quotes is that, success is making one good decision every 5 years. And that's an amazing quote. I think what he means by that is that, every day we're faced with decisions, or every week, every month where we have decisions, every year we have decisions that we could make, and our life is a product of those decisions. Me making a decision, 4 or 5 years ago it was almost 5 years ago now when I met Greg and Mel, and just deciding that I was going to follow my intuition and my gut, and I was going to partner with them. I'll never forget, I was on the phone and I just felt a sense of peace. And when I feel a sense of peace, I feel like that's God kind of just nudging me, saying, hey, go this direction, right? The other thing is when I get goosebumps all over and I get chills, that's also, God saying, hey, trying to get your attention here, And when you get around people or you meet people and that's what you're experiencing, that's what I was feeling. I was like, okay, I just got to say yes to this and come in with, an open mind and expect, great things. And that's ultimately what's happened. But I mean, being mentored by good people is so powerful. I think it's probably the only shortcut to success when it comes to, where you are and where you want to go. The only thing that's going to shortcut you there is mentorship. And Greg and Melanie are mindset mastery educators inside of the academy now as well, teaching every week. They were personally mentored by Bob Proctor. They were personally mentored by John Maxwell. They've been personally mentored by people like Eric Worre. So these are people that, before I got into business with them, like I looked them up, like I Googled them. Trust me. I was like, who are these people? What have they done? I'm seeing Melanie speaking on stages in at big events, and I'm going like, you know, I think I could learn something from these kinds of people. But again, what's crazy is, you know, I had written down in 2018 that I wanted to work with the best leaders in the world. And that's again what, you know, if you guys are watching this, or if you've just jumped on in the middle of it, just really encourage you guys, like, get crystal clear on what you want and focus on that and get on that frequency and that vibration. And you're going to attract mentors and people into your life that are going to say, hey, I'll show you the way. I'll coach you. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll do it with you. And I'll be there to answer those questions and to guide you. And I mean, it's priceless, but I don't think I could actually put a price tag on it. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Dude, that's excellent. Thank you so much. I'm just trying. I've gone and done something. Here we go. Now I'm free. I'm just prepping here. I want to do another screenshot. You hooked me up. This is another beautiful thing about mentorship, right? Is with mentorship, it connects you with so many opportunities, opens you up to one relationship after another. And one of the relationships, you know, when you connect with people. So I got to meet this guy. Who's this guy, Richard? Who's this guy?
Matt Rosa.
So I'd never met him before. I actually, the first time I saw him, Richard sent me a video of Matt Rosa. He's like, you got to watch this video. So I watched that video. I was like, okay, this guy's the man. Something amazing very quickly about Matt Rosa. When he's 16, he's homeless on the streets. In this photo here in Miami, start of the year, he's 30. And at this point, he's made, I think he said he's in somewhere in the vicinity of $40 million since, right? From going from a street kid to multi-million-dollar money-making machine. And through his business, his focus is discipling nations. And he's got people all around the world who are creating amazing kind of kingdom entrepreneur hubs that are blowing things up internationally. Just amazing. And he has tapped into something which I think is one of the greatest powers of the academy, which they teach. And he's one of the educators as well on how to create. There's two things that I think are possibly your most powerful financial boats that you can get in if you're wanting to start out. One is learning to trade, because it, like you said, it's scalable. It has compounding returns. There's no cap on how much you can earn in that. And the other one is network marketing, learning the skill sets of a network marketer. And most people, like you said, you talked about amateurs before, and they've just been put off by seeing amateurs. This guy is not an amateur. He's a pro. And I'll give you some evidence of that. And here's pretty much the last thing that I want to cover. Do one more screen share of this comp plan here. Okay, so nearly any, if we're talking about selecting boats, right? Nearly every gig opportunity is going to have a comp plan. Okay, so it's a good thing to check out is the comp plan. What's the comp plan of the opportunity that you're connecting with? So Matt Rosa is a Chairman 750. That means that every month, whether he does anything or not, his residual income is $750,000 a month. Rich, thoughts on these two dynamics of compounding returns? Because I think, you know, what are your thoughts? Are these two boats, these two compounding places of the skill set of trading and the skill set of a professional network marketer, what would you have to say about those in terms of their value?
I mean, so the biggest benefit of trading, we always talk about the money in trading, but I think the biggest benefit of trading is actually that you get your time back. And when you have your time back, like if you can make enough money trading in 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour at night, as you would normally make in a day or a week, now you've got your time back. So now you have your time. Well, how do you create, you know, even more leverage? Well, it's tapping into a business model, like Benji said, that can allow you to scale, you know. And for me growing up, you know, I always go back to my journey, because it was so interesting to work in different industries and have different jobs in different spaces and see people that had been there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the same career, making the same money, never being able to scale or grow. And then getting into the financial industry where there was a scalability to it to a point, but I was limited to the location where I lived. I was only licensed to work in certain areas. When I found network marketing and I discovered that just like anything, just like, take hockey or soccer or rugby or anything, I always like to use a sports analogy, but you can be an amateur or you can be a pro. And to be a pro, it takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of skills training and a lot of work. But the benefit of network marketing is that there's no limit on what you can earn. Matt Rosa, making $1 million a month with the bonuses, he was making $2,000 as a Platinum 2000 with, 7,500 people in his team for 2 years. What a lot of people don't understand is they look at Matt Rosa and they go, oh, he's 30, he's making $1 million a month. Well, you didn't see the 10-year journey. The first couple of years, he made nothing. His wife paid all the bills. His third year, I think he made $600 a month. His fourth and fifth year, he made $2,000 a month. And then he continued to elevate, and he had the right vehicle. He stayed in the same company. He continued to elevate. And then he went to, 50, 100, 250, $1 million a month. What's interesting about network marketing, though, is it's the most fair compensation on the planet, because the more people that you help, the more money you make. The more people I help, the more money I make. And it allows you to really have something that has no limits on where you can build your business as well. Specifically in our company, in our company, we're open in 100 countries around the world. I just had a lady in Iceland, that we got on the phone with, and she was telling us about Iceland, and she was like, man, there's no one's ever brought anything like this over there. Imagine all the people we could help and empower in Iceland. And I'm like, dude, what a dream that would be to go, and do that. You look at this type of business model, no matter where people in the world, all you need is a smartphone and a little bit of training, and you could build this business. Like I built this thing up to $5,000 a month, literally never left my house, just made phone calls, and then was able to scale it up into the chairman levels, from just following a simple system. So it's a plug and play business model. It's basically like having a franchise. A lot of people, when I was growing up, in Canada, the franchise that everybody wanted to have was a Tim Hortons. Any Canadians on the line, they're going to know what a Tim Hortons is. Or a Wendy's, right? That was like, everybody was like, or a Subway. People were like, man, like there was this guy in town and, he drove kind of a little bit of a nicer car, lived in a little bit of a nicer house because he owned 2 Subways, right? You come to find out that he's invested a couple $1 million to have those 2 Subways, and he only makes about $100,000 a year. So is that really a good business model? Like, is that really like the way to win? It's so interesting, right? As what's perceived and the perception of success. But you come into something like this, it's $275 to get started. It's a couple $100 a month, and you have a plug and play business. That's your overhead. That's all your risk monthly. It's a tax write-off. It's a way to scale something internationally around the world. And ultimately, it's a way to help people. So if that's something that resonates with you, of empowering and enriching and educating people's lives, I don't think there's anything better than network marketing. But you have to be willing to become a professional. Once you go pro in this industry, it's not easy to do, but it's simple to do. And it's something that you can just decide and make a decision and step into that space. And you're going to already have set yourself apart from the other. I mean, there's probably 500 million people in this industry in home-based business around the world. And with the recession and the downturn and everything happening right now, there's going to be hundreds of millions of people that are coming into this space. So if you're in this space already and you're with the right people with the right opportunity, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be reaching out to you saying, hey, I need to get started. I want to get started. Can you show me a better way? And network marketing, this is the last thing I'll say. Network marketing is not perfect. It's just better.
Beautiful. Dude, thank you so much. What a huge honor it's been having you with us. I know everyone's going to be priming off that exceptional value. Fam, shoot some love to Richard. Where can people follow you? How can they get more of your goodness?
So Instagram at Richard Oostra. You can follow me there. Make sure you spell my name exactly, first, last name. There's a lot of impersonators out there on social media right now. It's kind of crazy. Facebook, Richard Oostra. LinkedIn, you can follow me on there. But Facebook and Instagram are really, Instagram's my main platform. I share everything to my Facebook. I do post on LinkedIn occasionally. If you want to connect with me on there, I'd love to connect with you on there. But we do need to stay connected, and we do need to build community. I think that the thing that's going to take us through any challenge or any obstacle in life is always going to be your network and the community that you're a part of and the people that are in your life. So if there's any way that I can add value to you guys, or if there's anything I can do for you guys to serve you, please don't be afraid to reach out, and I'd love to do that. So really appreciate you having me on today, Benji. It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Then one thing I can promise you, just a couple of little housekeeping things, right? If someone's invited you to watch this video, etc., this is obviously a network marketing opportunity. Go back to the person who invited you or connected you. If you think, man, I'd love more information about that, or I'd love to jump in on that. If you're watching a replay and no one's invited you, boom, check me out, look me up, email me at benji@raisingroyalty.com. Reach out to me on social media, tag me in this video. Hey, we will help you. If you want to get started in an opportunity like this, one thing that I want to give you as a guarantee, right, is that when I got on a call and said, yep, Flip, sign me up, I'd love to do this, I got connected with, I would say, one of the most professional network marketing businesses that I'm a part of, that has absolutely phenomenal training to empower you, being trained by experts in all of these opportunities, the level of service, professionalism, the quality of leadership, people like Richard Oostra. This company is stacked with absolute top level leaders and experts that can help you and serve you in any way that you want to grow going forward. And I endorse these guys and 100% in what they're doing. Absolutely love it. Blown away. Love the vision. Love the journey. So if this is something you'd like to experience, learn more about, jump on board with the opportunity, then reach out. We'd love to help you, and send massive love to Richard. What an honor, dude. You blew it up, and we're so, so grateful. So bless you, dude. Any final words? Otherwise, we'll say see you later.
Hey man, thank you so much. Looking forward to coming down and seeing your farm, and maybe hitting the gym with you, and continuing to just grow the relationship. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody on the call. Appreciate you guys. And if you want to get started with us, like Benji said, just reach out to whoever got you this video or got you on this call, and we'd love to work with you. So with that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Amazing. Bless you. Thank you, my friend. See you, fam.